Well, howdy, y'all, and welcome to another high-powered episode of the High Voltage Live Show. I'm your host, Willie Snyder, with NEC Code, coming to you live from the Mile High City in Denver, Colorado. I am joined by my awesome King James Stallcup over there in Big Sky Country, Texas. He's been doing such a great job, but he's been under the weather, so I appreciate you still putting it together and just bringing the heat for Stallcup Electrical Education. Looks like we already have David Engelhardt up in the house. Awesome. Great to see you tonight, and thanks for smashing that like button. And David is wanting to get an update on the NEC Deathmatch. We're moving forward.
We're moving forward. We just finished. If you look on the groups and stuff, you'll see the new grounding and bonding publication just went on, and the lightning protection. We also gave a free chapter for the electrical codes and standards that we go through that was out of the design book. And we're finished within the next month, if everything goes right. Hopefully by next Friday, I'll have the generator transform motor compressor fully in color updated for sale there, and I will also sell it in 3 individual parts, and then I will do all individual chapters, so there will be roughly 28 sales on that. And then I go straight in to putting the calculation chapters together, then the journeyman and masters, and then after we get all of that, then we go straight into getting ready for the online and everything. And during that time, we do have a new one that'll be coming up. I can't say who, but apparently we got a big contract that's about to come through in the oil and gas industry. And I'm going to be updating the illustrations for hazardous classified locations, which I showed some of that on that Sunday we did, showing all the
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, Daniel's already up in here. He's looking for fresh blood tonight. He's trying to go for number 6. Easy quiz, Daniel.
I apologize now if I'm coughing. I'm going through I got a sinus infection. And
hey, what's up, Cameron? Oh, thanks for joining. Appreciate you coming in.
Matter of fact, last night, I talked to Bill. I went to bed about 10 o'clock, and I woke up at 2 this afternoon. So I'm trying to get through this. It's just kicking my rear end. But anyway, we'll be updating that portion for the big classes, and as we're doing that, I'll slowly be working to bring everything over and update for the online education that's going to be coming with the death match and all of that. So I'm hopefully looking at September, October. Everything will be, there's going to be a lot that's going to be happening in the next few months, and everything will be to the highest level that has been out there ever. So,
nice.
Oh, and I want to say thanks to everybody that's been sending me messages telling me they love the grounding book. I had a few on the lightning protection, but the grounding, I don't even know how many we sold. It's been tons. And I just want to remind everybody, come next Friday, that sale goes off. So if you want it, go to the groups, and you have the opportunity to get it at a discounted price you'll never see again. So
nice.
I have a thing. I have a thing that's worked out with a publisher. Anything new like that, I can do a discounted price because it takes them about a month to get everything ready for their end for publishing and all of that. So I said 2 weeks. They said, yeah, you can do that. So after 2 weeks, that sale won't be there anymore. So if
nice.
You want a good deal, better jump on it because it will be gone by next Friday.
Dude, I'll tell you what, I really love my my 2023 code change publication, and I might have a few little questions in there I might be getting you on, so we'll see. You know, everyone knows I'm trying to throw in some code questions in there to try to get James on his own book.
You know something that's
questions.
interesting? I'm doing the 2020, and I was going through it, and as I'm going through, there was no Article 220, and I was like, sure, they didn't freaking delete Article 220, and because usually you can pull it up even if there isn't any changes, but I think they just made a mistake because I went and checked some other referrals, and it was still going back to Article 220, but when I was going through the changes they had there and everything, Article 220 didn't even pull up.
Wow.
That's something.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So are you still doing that for topic?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think I go all the way into Article 230. I think I picked up 215, 225, and 230, and there was no 220 because it wasn't there. So,
Wow.
but I'll go through everything and tell everybody, what has happened up to this point. So, okay.
Cool. All right. Well, I think you will like my my meme this week. It was pretty good.
All right, let's
Actually good for summertime. Oh, that's such a funny look from Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. That's not Hulk Hogan.
Oh.
I thought that was Thunder Lips.
Dude, Daniel knows exactly what's up. So we were out at one of the gas and oil plants, and we had these meetings in the morning, and everyone talks about suggestions of things they should do for safety. And one of the guys was like, "Hey, can we get a tarp put over the porta potties? Because it gets awful hot in there." We just all started busting up laughing.
Much hotter.
Like, how long are you staying in there? But that was funny. So that was a good meme of the week. I think I stole that from Trader. So big shout out to Trader Bill out there. Thanks for letting me steal your meme, brother.
All right, let's roll myth. I don't want to screw around too much tonight. I'm telling you, I'm going to be really struggling tonight.
All right,
let's roll it.
It's time for Myth of the Week.
All right. Thanks for joining the Myth of the Week every week, and everyone on the job site did a really good job this week. I always quiz everybody, and the majority of everyone got this right. Anti-short bushings, it's like true or false. Anti-short bushings are required by the manufacturer if used on type MC cable, so to be used. But so this is kind of a trick one. And oh wow, we got Mr. Russ Odin in the house. Awesome, thanks, Mr. Code. Awesome, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. So what we have going is with this one is kind of an interesting one because it's not really clear. There's certain types of connectors, like for example on the MC90 connectors. I still use them. I think they are probably a good safety blanket for certain different connections. Sometimes we have the clamp style MC connectors that can be possibly like Daniel probably puts them in his impact and then just runs them to China. You got to make sure that you got to be protecting them. But in general, if you're installing these correctly and you're using the approved MC fittings, then anti-short bushings are not required. And then the reason that I got a lot of people on this one is a lot of people see required and recommended, and they see the same thing, and that's not true. So one thing you'll run into, stole this from David Englehart, really appreciate it. He says, and verified by NEMA bulletin number 90, which is in your screen right now. And so this bulletin basically came out 2002, and they made the determination that if these MC connectors are self-centering, then they're going to keep that conductor far enough away from that rigid metal jacket that you're not going to have a problem with shorting or any kind of issues. And a lot of people said, oh, well, you know, what if your apprentice does it and it shorts out a bunch of stuff? Well, you need to be teaching your apprentice better, for one. And for two, that's not being installed correctly if you have a shorting out, just because of the connector. So that's improper installation. I had a lot of requests for people to do how MC cable is cut next week. So we'll probably go through that, but this week is just the actual bushing itself, if it's required to be used. I have had inspectors tell me, I don't care what any code says, you got to use them. And I really didn't fight back on them too much. I just said, okay, we're using them, and we're using the right connectors, and we're doing it right and everything. But I haven't really gotten any piston match over this. I just try to, kind of keep it cool, because a lot of old school inspectors say that they check for them. And, like I say, I don't see a way that an inspector can enforce something that's not in the NEC. So this week, myth is busted. You are not required by the manufacturer to use these. It is recommended by the manufacturer. And you can see a lot of this stuff that James is pulling up is these report on proposals. And I believe a lot of this, I could be wrong, James, but I believe a lot of this was public inputs for the 2002 NEC, and I think a lot of these public inputs to make them a mandatory code requirement were rejected, and they basically made it, it's a mandatory use. A lot of guys say it's just smarter to just use them. Well, that's cool, then use them. There's nothing wrong with it. People say, well, they come with the cable, so that means that you're intended to use it. Well, a lot of manufacturers now are not even sending them with MC cable because they know it's not required. So, like I say, if you don't get them, it's probably because the manufacturer's not sending it anymore.
Sure.
But I know you could probably go a little bit deeper on this, James. I wasn't really heavy into the code in 2002. I know I just got my license. So I remember I don't remember a whole lot of code battles that I got into when I first got my journeyman's license.
Yeah, when you look at this, basically, matter of fact, I have to go back and look. I'm not even sure that 330.40 is even there anymore. I know 320.40 is still there for AC cable, but I don't think 330.40 is there anymore because...
No, it's not.
I didn't think so. And you've got type AC cable now, and you take and look at this, it and if you would go back and, because I think 2002 it did have 330.40 in there, but it never said anything about the anti-short bushings in there that you need to use them, but it did say that you need them right here when you're using type AC cable. And like
I almost guarantee David Englehart's probably going in link right now to try to see what cycle it got removed. But yeah, there's a chance that it was still in 2002 and then it got removed in 05.
I was thinking it was 08, but I'm not 100% sure. I just remember it not being there. But when you go in and you actually look at it, it's recommended by the manufacturer for MC cable, but when you go and you look at the code for AC cable, it literally is required, and that goes along with what you were saying and plus looking at the documentation that you got from David, they specifically state that. So
yes, sir.
I think that answers it. You busted it.
Yeah. No, awesome, David. Thanks for letting me steal that. And I had the one that I posted that David posted that on. I had the National Association of Armored Cable. It was a cable manufacturer that put that out too. So then that's basically standardizing all the cable across the board. And there are cases where you need them, and there's cases where you don't. So really appreciate all the participation. I mean, they're still in there arguing. I mean, I had probably 300-400 comments in there. Like I haven't even read them all because there's so many comments going in. So I really appreciate everyone participating. It's the whole reason I do it is because of the discussion and to get everyone involved in the code. So I appreciate it. It means a lot. So we'll let James get rolling on his topic.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, and real quick, James, I just want to address this comment from David. Confusion being when the manufacturer sends anti-shorts with every roll of MC. That's true, David, and that's another reason why I decided to run a lot of these myths. I guarantee I'm not going to get through to everybody on them, but there's times where they've sent luminaires out that are LED with these fixture disconnects on the end of the LED, and like you were supposed to use them or something, and so that is true, David. That's where a lot of this confusion comes from, and that's what makes the myths. So
that's true.
Sorry to interrupt your topic there, James, but go ahead, continue.
No worries. I will say this: I'm not doing a whole bunch of these tonight. To be honest, I didn't feel like doing these, so I put together a few. Up into Article 230, I'll start 240 next week. I was about to do some of them. I was like, that's all I'm doing. As I was doing all these, my eyes were watering. I was like, man, it's going to be a tough night. So,
yeah.
But anyway, what they did here, this is in 225.31, and A and B is where they made the changes. And what they did, they made a revision here. And what this revision is going to be dealing with is the disconnect, where it acts as the emergency disconnect means for your outside feeders and branch circuits. And what they did here is they're clarifying what the requirements are regarding the disconnecting means, and this is dependent on if it's located inside or outside of the building. Okay?
Sure.
So what they're telling you here is, and you're going to see some other things that took place where they've moved some stuff around where it was in another section. They've moved it over here to another area, and you're going to start seeing they're doing some consistency here. Now, let me explain why this is important. And you've heard me say this many times as we've gone through, and somebody's asking grounding and bonding questions, or we were doing a topic on grounding and bonding. And I said, the one thing you're always looking at is where's your first disconnecting means. And when you set up the first disconnecting means, that affects your grounding and bonding also. And we're gonna get to another one here in a little bit, and they're gonna make specific mention of that in the committee statement. Okay, and I'm going to go through and explain that a little bit more. But what they're going to tell you here in A, they say if the disconnecting means is used as the emergency disconnect, it shall comply with 225.41. We're going to get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, and one thing I want to do is, as well as give a shout out to Worm Bros. What's up, fam? Awesome. Thanks for jumping in. Is just let everyone know that these are proposed. These have not been finalized for the code, so this language could change. We're not saying this is gospel at this time, so just keep in mind. Don't get us wrong. Like, nobody ever gets us wrong, James, but we just don't want nobody twisting around saying that we're saying this is exactly what the code's going to say in 2026. Well,
I'll tell you, most of the time when I'm looking at these changes, usually the most of it has been 100% affirmative by all the code making panel members. So more than likely, there's a good chance you're going to see this in the next cycle.
I agree.
I would say you're probably 95% chance. Now, one of the things that'll happen, they may come in and change some wording and stuff, but the overall concept of what they're looking at doing, this is probably going to take place. So what they tell you in B is they say if that disconnecting means is located inside, it has to be at a readily accessible location nearest the point of entrance of the conductors. And if it's the disconnecting means is located outside the building, then they tell you it has to be at a readily accessible location or within sight of the building, which is in accordance 110.29, which means it has to be within 50 foot. Okay, so we're going to get into that a little bit and go a little bit deeper into this in a little bit. But the one thing I want to point out is they say for the purpose of this section in B, the requirements in 230.6. Okay? So we're going to get into all of that here in just a little bit.
But, yeah, and I think there was some 2023 changes in that with insight and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, they used to have it in Article 100 definition of within sight, insight from, and all of that. And then they moved it to 110.29 because Article 110 is a general requirement.
Gotcha. Right?
Now, this is where you're going to get into, and this is where they get into the emergency disconnects. And this is dealing for 1 and 2 family dwelling units. All right. Now, we had the main one there for the location and talking about it being in a readily accessible outdoor location or within sight. And then they added an exception here. This is where, if you go back and look at this one right here, and you look at the very first, it tells you in A, the disconnecting means is use emergency disconnect. It shall comply with what? 225.41. Well, that's where we are right now. We're in 41 right here. Okay?
Right.
Now, what it says in the exception here, it says if the service disconnecting means complies with 230.70A2 or the disconnecting means is in accordance with 225.31, which is where we're at, is in a readily accessible outdoor location or within sight of the 1 and 2 family dwelling unit, an additional emergency disconnect shall not be required. Okay? Right. Now, this is interesting because I want you to see what the committee statement said here, and you'll start to see where all this is starting to tie in. It says the proposed change is necessary in order to clarify that the equipment that the disconnect is part of must have a short circuit current rating not less than the available fault current. Now, I just want to stop there for a second. Now, you've heard me go through all this before. Some that hadn't been on here might not have heard me go through this. But being on the 70E committee, which, I've pretty much been there since it started. And the old 70E, what we used to have in there is we would take and basically we would make that document pretty much look like the OSHA document dealing with OSHA 1910 302 through 308. And this got into dealing with the installation of equipment for safety. That's basically what it was.
I agree.
Now, none of that's in there. Now, when that happened, we started making changes over the years, and I was actually on the task group that was involved in developing the table. Table 130.7 C15 A, B, and C. Okay. A deals with your AC, B deals with your DC now, and C is where you select your PPE. Well, when we did that, we basically I tell people, they go, why'd y'all do that table? Well, the reason that table was done was for a contractor that comes out on the job and he needs to take and provide PPE for his personnel. They need to be trained on this. Well, when you look at that table, we had parameters that are underneath those tables there when we started, and we would tell you it had to meet a certain clearing time and available short circuit current or available fault current, whatever you want to call it, same thing.
Sure.
Well, the problem was when you go out on the job, you could never get the available fault current. or the service
Yep.
out there. So we ended up with a problem. So it wasn't long after that, maybe the next cycle, or maybe the next one after that, we added 110.24 in the National Electrical Code that deals with available fault current. And now you're required to put that available fault current. Now you'll remember when we started, I was going over as 2026. Now you go look at 110.16, look at them now, they're telling you the available fault current has to be where? On the label there. It just isn't a warning anymore that you have exposure. So now they're telling you we want this certain information. Well, that's what we're getting into right here, because if you come out and this is going to be your first disconnecting means here, naturally it has to be in a readily accessible location, and then it has to be within 50 foot of the dwelling unit. Okay, so setting something out that's 100 yards away out on pole and then running a feeder in, that's no longer going to be allowed. You're going to have to be within 50 foot. Okay, so I'm trying to tie everybody in so you understand exactly what's taking place here. Okay.
So I want to add another little something to this, James. So a lot of times what we have to do when we're like doing this risk assessment, when we're going to like work on this equipment, this available fault current could signal some red flags for these qualified people that's out there. So, and this actually happened on one of the jobs I was on. So we went out there, we're looking at the available fault current. The AHJ's telling me available fault current is 26K. Well, I can tell you right now, I just looked at that equipment that was out there. I knew it was all 10K rated. So I know that I'm not going to be opening that up and expecting electrically safe work condition, working on it with verified energized, because you have that potential for unintentional rapid disassembly in the field, and we don't like those. That is ungood, as Tommy D would say. And so this is the kind of stuff that we have to look at when you go up there. Like if you're going to work on something and you see burn marks, or you see you see problems, like you see screws glowing or something like that, that's going to be one of those conditions where you just don't want to have that happen.
Right.
So, and awesome, I see you popped in the link up in there, so that's awesome, James. Everyone's got to go check out.
And I forgot. But
yeah,
anyway, looking at this, I want to point something out, because I tell you the last sentence here in the committee statement, it says the proposed exception to 225.41A1 ensures that two disconnecting means are not required when the service or outside feeder or branch circuit disconnecting means are used as emergency disconnecting means. Now, why is this important? Nice. Because I want you to see what they're calling it. They're not calling it service conductors. They're calling it what? A feeder or branch circuit. And that's what I'm saying. You establish that first disconnecting means, well, when I come in to that structure at that point, that's a feeder coming in. Depending on what you're feeding, of course. But what if say you're feeding the house? You're coming in, that becomes a feeder. That automatically is going to tell you right there that you're going to have to take at that point, and that feeder coming in, that neutral has to be isolated. It will not be grounded there.
That's a really good comment there, Worm Bro. Yeah, dude. You have to really look at normal operating condition and condition of maintenance too. And like I say, there's been times before where I've seen like burn marks, or I've seen like a lot of abnormal conditions, and I'd be apprehensive working on that while energizing. I just tell them, let's shut it off and get it into a normal operating condition.
You'll remember I actually did a presentation. It's been at least 6, 7, 8 months ago, that I actually went through and explained normal operating conditions and everything, tying it in with 70E, because somebody on one of the groups was saying something that was completely wrong, and then I went in and laid it out. And he actually contacted me and said, I never knew that. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
being on the 70E committee since it started, you've heard pretty much every argument for everything. So
Yeah.
I like to consider
100,
pretty
100,
well versed
100, 100%.
All right. Now, this is where you're getting into 230.70. Okay. And they made some changes here. And actually, they made quite a few changes here. And this is where they get in talking about you having a means put in there, something disconnected. In other words, all your ungrounded conductors in a building or structure. Okay. Now, they did in A for the service disconnect location, they did a little bit of changes there and told you just don't look at 230.70A1. You need to look at A2, 3, and 4 also. And then they got into the readily accessible location. It's made some minor fix-ups there. But when you look at A2, this is new. This is where we get into 1 and 2 family dwellings. All right.
Wow, there's quite a bit of new language in there. That's a lot of green in there.
Yeah. Well, when I explain it, you'll understand why. And getting back to the emergency disconnect. Okay.
Right.
Now, what they did for 1 and 2 family dwellings. Let's see if this wording sounds similar to what we just read. Service disconnect shall be installed in a readily accessible outdoor location on or within sight of the 1 and 2 family dwelling.
Yeah.
Well, once again, depending on what becomes the first disconnecting means, it has to be within sight if it's outdoors. And this is tying in exactly. Now, the other thing that they did, and I paid real close attention to what I'm going to tell you, because they refer you over to 230.70, okay?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at B for your service disconnect marking, it says it'll be in accordance with 230.70B1 and 230.70B2, and it gets into the marking, and it says it'll be marked as a service disconnect, and look here, it'll comply with 110.21B.
Right.
That gets to be interesting right there, because now they're telling you that you're going to have at that service disconnecting that's going to be marked out there. Look at this. It says emergency disconnect, service disconnect.
Right.
And then you have to comply with the markings in 110.21B. And you remember I went over this the other day. I said, if you're given a warning here, it's going to be what color? Orange.
Yep.
If it was a danger, it'd be red. If I was just giving a signaling of some type, it would be in yellow. Okay? And then they tell you here, it says, the marking shall be located on the outside front of the disconnect enclosure with a red background and white text, and the letters shall be at least 1.5 inches high.
See, and the one thing that I noticed on this is Willie Jackerson's going to be really bummed because that service that he's got inside his bathroom that's run across to the Walmart 15 amp is not going to be legal in 2026. So
sure,
he's pretty bummed.
And look at this. I find this pretty interesting because it gets into the identification of other source disconnects. Okay,
right.
Let's take a look at it. It says where equipment for disconnection of other energy source systems is not located adjacent to the service disconnect required by this section, then you've got to have a plaque or directory identifying the location of all equipment for disconnection of energy sources shall be located adjacent to service disconnect. And then they tell you, here's some of them to look at. Well, what is one? 445.18, what's that deal with? Generators.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? You go through here and just start looking. They're combining everything, making sure everything's marked properly here. Now, if you look at the
because you could have separate sources of energy.
Sure.
Energy storage. You could have separate sources.
And then look at this.
Concern.
This is the most important part, and this ties into exactly what I was saying. Let's look at the requirements. Okay? Now it says, requirements related to emergency disconnects found in 230.85 of the NEC have caused confusion in the electrical industry since it was not clear what specific type of disconnects were allowed to meet these requirements. It was also unclear how to ensure the emergency disconnect equipment is protected from available fault current. In addition, there has been a confusion when applying the requirements. Look at this. For grounding and bonding of Article 250 when an emergency disconnect is installed on the supply side of a service disconnecting means. So everything I've been saying up to this point is tying into exactly what I was saying. Now, I want to read the last sentence to this. It says, the change will resolve issues related to what type of equipment can be installed for the emergency disconnect, how grounding and bonding is required to be installed, and the issues related to available fault current are addressed by the fact that service equipment is required to have approved overcurrent protection.
Nice. Yeah, and I'm gonna let you kind of answer this first, James. Worm Bros got a question in here, and he's asking if we think that they're doing this for unqualified personnel. With increase at transfer switches and PV and all this different energy storage.
I think they're doing it I think they're doing it for everybody. And I'll explain why. Because when you're out there, when you got a transfer switch there, how is that transfer switch being put in? Well, you're going to go over and look at separately derived systems, go look at 250.30, and based on the type of transfer switch you're doing, you got a 3-pole, 4-wire, or are you using equipment ground to ground back over to that other energy supply source, or are you switching the neutral? That's what it comes down to. That all gets into the grounding. But in order to do that properly, you still got to ground at the emergency disconnect first, because excuse me, that is the first portion, or your first point, where you establish your grounding means. And then from there you go in. Now, that brings up a good point right there. And I'm waiting to see how they do this also, but I'm going to say you need to do this. Let's say you're outside and you have the emergency disconnect that's on the 1 and 2 family structure. All right? Mm-hmm. And you come down and you hit a ground rod. Okay? I'm sorry. My ass is getting kicked tonight. Or let's say you go to a cold water pipe. Okay? Mm-hmm. First of all, you got to determine do you have 10 foot or more of copper and earth? And if you do, and you're using it as your grounding electrode, you need to come over, since it's there on the building. Now you also need to drive a ground rod. But if I'm 50 foot away, naturally you wouldn't take and use the cold water pipe. You see what I'm saying? It depends on where the emergency disconnect is set up, and then from there you start looking at your different type of grounding requirements. Okay?
Yeah, and typically they've let us do supplemental bonding with 2 ground rods, 6 to 8 foot apart. The way I'm going to answer that, Worm Bros, is I'm basically going to say that they're doing it for unqualified and qualified, because there's a lot of qualified personnel out there that need to know this information. And I agree with James in his assessment that there's a lot of more factors that just come into, like I say, not just, like James has a good point with grounding and bonding, and stuff like that. So to me, I think they're doing it for consistency of unqualified and qualified, but that is a really good point, because there is a lot of provisions that's in the code for unqualified personnel, and I don't know, I guess I'm to the point where I'm kind of frustrated with that a little bit. I think that the National Electric Code should not really cover too much of the unqualified. I mean, I think that we should, as far as like disconnecting power, stuff like that, but there's a lot of times where they say, well, you need to be labeling for the unqualified person, and kind of like we did in the myth with the fixture disconnects. I don't think that there should be unqualified people in there working on luminaires hot while energized. I just don't think that should be part of our code. Like, to me, that's why I thought that one was a stupid change. And the whole thing is, if you go look at the manufacturer instructions, it says no serviceable parts. So why are we even having unqualified people in there changing drivers and trying to work on stuff while energized in electrically unsafe work conditions? So to me, I think that's where it's about. Worm Bros is trying to bring everyone into this electrically safe work condition, whether it be on the utility side or whatever, just so that we all are aware of the available fault current and being lower than the short circuit current rating. So sorry to interrupt, James.
Oh, no worries.
That's
and
my
I
opinion.
agree with you. And I've always say this, you can only protect so much. You can't just protect every little thing, because you're going to have homeowners and stuff that get out there. There's a reason that the manufacturers have to put on their instructions, do not work on this energized.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, I really love having the good questions in the chat. So keep them coming, man. We love them.
Oh, sure. And now we used to look at 215.10 and look at 230.95. Well, now you're going to have an A and B here. All right. A is going to deal with AC systems, dealing with ground fault protection of equipment. But they've come in and now they've also want to ensure, so the committee is including DC systems. Okay. Because we know that you can have arcing faults, and this is addressing those systems that are anywhere from 150 volts to ground up to 1,500 volts line to line. So they have come in and they have added the ground fault protection of equipment for DC systems now.
Right.
And I think this might be the last one I did. I thought this was interesting. All right. And they're everybody says you cannot have overcurrent protection devices other than supplementary located in the bathroom, showering facilities, or locker rooms with showering facilities. But they did put an exception here that you are permitted to install those in existing panel boards that were installed in compliance with previous editions of the code.
Oh, the grandfather clause.
The grandfather clause came in.
Wow. All right. Yeah,
So-
that is interesting.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, yeah, I might want to put that in there. So that is my topic of the week, and I'm surprised I got through it.
Now that there's a slight chance that might come up in a myth of the week, but never know. Just might sneak that one in there. But everyone
give
knows
you something new, don't I?
Yeah, I always try to sneak in the myths that everyone's gonna enjoy, and just have a good time doing. It means a lot, so much for everyone that follows Nat King Code page. Like, we've just blown up. Like, I'm at like 8,000 followers, and all these likes and everything, and just have a bunch of followers over on Instagram, a bunch of followers over on Facebook. It's so awesome. It means a lot. Everyone follows the questions. A lot of guys are trying to go out there, get their journeyman. Good luck, Marco, on your, Marcus is taking his JW exam this weekend. So, good luck on that. We've had so many people pass their first try that jump in here, check out the show, follow my page, take the practice exam questions, and it means a lot. Means a lot that's what I did it for. I wanted to have a free source for people to go and just practice and get better, and learn the code, and just learn the practical code, because and James knows this about me, I try to bring it from like a real life standpoint. Like, I'm not sitting there trying to teach you about outlets freaking hovering in air and, all kinds of weird stuff that's voodoo magic that's not going to happen until 2032 or whenever they decide that that's going to actually work. But that kind of stuff is kind of what I'm all about. James is all about. We have a lot of magical illustrations, for the magical outlet and stuff. So, that kind of stuff. It just means a lot for you guys to follow us and check us out, and we'll try to just keep bringing the heat. But this week, I would have to tell you, James, I got a really awesome tool. So let's check it out.
All right, let's roll it.
It's time for tool review of the week. Sponsored by Electricians Only Tool Review and Nipex Tradesman.
Alright, this is going to be a real surprise to everyone because it's about time, but DeWalt finally came up with a knockout set. And so I think this is really cool, and it's weird because it says hydraulic, but it's probably like hydraulic with battery power, so you don't have to pump or anything. But it looks really cool. Like, I'm gonna have to check out this. It's kind of a little wonky design. Like, I kind of was didn't really understand like the little stem coming off with the thing off to the side. That looked kind of weird. But like I say, this just came out to rival the Milwaukee one, and like I say, it shows this only going up to 2-inch, which I guarantee what Milwaukee did was they came out with this set originally that only went up to 2-inch, and then within a matter of a month, they had a kit that went up to 4-inch that went with it. So I anticipate DeWalt doing that too, coming out with one that goes all the way to 4-inch. You can see they have the two different size KO stems, and so obviously if you're going to go to 4-inch, you just need that larger size, rod, and I'm not exactly sure what. I know that one is like 7/16, I believe. But like I say, this kit, if they could actually get it to be a little bit cheaper than Milwaukee, I could see them selling a lot of these. Like Daniel's a red guy over there, and he's even wooing and wowing, So that means a lot. But yeah, they just came out with this. I don't know exactly how old. This, like, I'd say within the last month they came out with this, but like I say, the one thing is I'd have to see how it compares to the Milwaukee. There's a chance that it might be easier to use than the Milwaukee. There's a chance that it might be a little wonkier than Milwaukee, but I'll have to see. What I plan on doing is trying to see if I get my hands on one of these things and try to use it and kind of see. So I have this story, Daniel will love this, and it was actually at the same job site me and Daniel are at, and they got this brand new Milwaukee one of these, and they're like, oh man, this is brand new, you're the first guy that's ever used it. And so typically what I do is I'll drill like a small hole just large enough for the shaft, then I'll punch like a 1/2 inch, and then I'll use like the bigger stem and then punch whatever size I want so I could line it up better. And so I was the first one to ever use this thing, and it was the Milwaukee version. And I accidentally put the die on the wrong direction. I accidentally, instead of having the cutting teeth towards the can, I had the smooth side up against the can. And I wasn't paying attention, and I popped it, and I realized what I did, and I was like, oh man. I was like, I hope it's okay. And I mean, it was fine. It came apart, but I was like, oh man. I was almost the one that screwed it up on like the first time, So that's the kind of thing where, like, ever since I made that mistake, I've realized like you have to pay attention when you're using these, that you're putting the things on the right direction, making sure that you're lined up right and everything like that. So there's a real art to using one of these knockout toolkits, but. This one goes from 1/2 inch to 2-inch, and you could probably see it being part of my arsenal moving forward if they get this thing. Probably, I'd say in a little around the 1,000 range. I'd guess probably around the 1,000 range. I'd be in the market for that. Maybe even a little less than 1,000, but we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated, and everyone knows I'm a big DeWalt guy, so we'll try to keep some of this stuff coming
Awesome.
to you.
All right.
All right, well, here we come. Let's see if we get James.
Hope so. I'm not even thinking great tonight, but let's see what you got.
All right.
Service equipment. Oh, yeah. What was this? Oh, gosh. This is a new change. We did this. We actually showed the boat down there with a datum plane. I think it was 12 inches, if I'm not mistaken. That was like, I think it was that like 685.11 or something like that.
Only 12 inches, huh?
Yeah, I think it's 12 inches. I'm going off memory here. God, that's just something I don't look at it often. But I'm going to go with 12 inches.
Oh, James. It is too bad. You are correct. You remember your own code change. I was trying to get you on 18 inches, but
I could have sworn it was 12. I think that's 12, if I'm not mistaken. What section was it? Was it .11? I think something like that.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly. What I need to do is every show I should bring the Stallcup publication so I could flip to it and actually show like if you guys do not have the Stallcup 2023 illustrated publication for code changes, you are missing out, because you can just go through and you can flip right to this code change and it shows you a picture of the boat. It shows you a picture of James walking on there with his big belt buckle. Oh, I'm just kidding. No, it doesn't show that. But it's just a picture. Yeah. Oh, we forgot to do hook 'em horns. Oh. And just to let everyone know, this is pickle shot night. So I got a message from Adam. He might not make it. Adam said if he doesn't make it, he's like, the show must go on. So I was like, and I just saw Rising Rhino just started streaming a football game, so he's probably not making it either. But
okay,
like I say, it's pretty awesome to have YouTube friends that they're not busy, will pop in and try to give you a challenge. Dude, this quiz this week, I mean, you should easily go to undefeated tonight. It's so easy, and like I say, it's good news for Daniel too. Because Daniel likes to, try to take out the champ, and
What's
stuff.
It
NBA trivia.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's sports,
Okay.
What happens is I try to fly way too close to the sun sometimes, I try to think, all right, I'm gonna get James, and then find out it, And so, a lot of times what I do is I do, Dallas Cowboys trivia, and I do, I got you a lot of times on Dallas Cowboys trivia. Then I think, all right, I'm going to go again, and then just smash, 3 for 3, and I'm like, oh, dang it. So I got to be careful. I can't fly too close to the sun and get my wings melted. I got to just be all right, I'm coming to get him, and just, keep my wings low and slow, you know what I mean? And be like, all right, here we come, and then just, here we go, coming in for the kill. And this week, bam, we'll see. But Adam might pop in, Rising Rhino might pop in. I'm not sure. I invite him every week, but at the same time, I don't know. Exactly. Okay. I try to tell them it starts right around 7. You know what we should do? Let's do the wall of shame real quick, and we could have a little bit of fun and see if they pop in.
All right.
Shame. 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 Shame.
All right. Well, this week we decided to have a little bit of fun with all the people, the members of Wall of Shame, and somebody changed our cover picture to a big old rainbow pride flag. And this was what happened moments after we did it. It was utter chaos. We lost like 4,000 members, 4,000 or 5,000 members. Everyone was all mad, saying we're all woke and we shouldn't have done that. And I was just like, dang you, Milo, you know. But it was just really funny. It's like we got a lot of activity in the group, and really appreciate everyone who could take a joke. We were just having fun and, you know, kind of trying to throw a little bit of thing out there for equality. Like, you know, do I think it's, you know, right for, you know, the, you know, gay community to have like the whole month or whatever? Nah, probably not, you know, but, you know, they do and whatever. And do I think we should celebrate it? You know, it's their thing, you know, like it's none of our business what people do on their private time or whatnot. I mean, you know, it's their lifestyle. Like, who cares, you know? But I just thought this was so hilarious. I found this picture, and I was all, that's exactly what happened within 30 minutes. Like, I mean, it just blew up. There was all these posts, like, people leaving, and, you know, everyone just saying that, you know, like, we're horrible. They're making, like, their own groups, and everyone could come join their group because it's better than ours. And that's just, like, it was crazy, man. I was like, wow, I didn't know it was that big of a deal, but, you know, that was my wall of shame for this week because, you know, the admin and everything else, we were the ones to be shamed this week, you know. So,
Well,
it is what it is, you know. It was a lot of fun, but hopefully Adam pops in. He said he might not make it, and I told Adam that we are still doing I'm doing pickle shots. So Adam has this thing where he drinks a pickle shot, you know. So I actually found these actual pickle shots. My wife, she actually works at a liquor store. So I was like, oh, you got any pickle shots? She's like, oh, yeah, I'll get you. So she got me pickle shots. So I'm doing pickle shots in honor of Adam. So if Adam's here, I'm doing pickle shots with Adam. If Adam's not here, I'm doing pickle shots in honor of Adam missing the Willie Quiz. So good luck tonight, everyone.
let's roll it.
You are now entering the zone of the Willie Quiz. Enter at your own risk.
All right, so big shout out to Cameron. Thanks so much for coming up with the topics. Last 2 weeks has been a Cameron suggestion. So question number 1, which of these NBA teams actually existed? Is it A, the Seattle Pioneers? Is it B, the St. Louis Archers? Is it C, the Cincinnati Tigers? Is it D, the San Diego Seals? Or is it E, the Providence Steamrollers? Good luck, everyone. All right, and oh, dude, Daniel's already. He's going. Oh, dude, Cincinnati
Wrong.
Tigers.
Wrong.
Dude, that's a good freaking. That's Oh, dude. C's a good one.
He's missing that one. I know they used to have a team and never got another one. That was Providence. I don't know what their team name was, but I know that back in the 40s they used to have one. It was one of the only cities that never got another basketball team, and it was Providence. So I'm going with.
Are you sure? You're sure I'm not tricking you with one of these other names, huh?
I know they used to have one back in the 40s. Providence did, and they never got another team. If I didn't know that, it'd be tough for me to pick. But I know they used to have.
So they were the Steamrollers, huh?
I guess they were the Steamrollers. I just know Providence had one.
Oh, all right.
My dad's the one who told me that. I remember it. Even football ones I know who used to have teams. And what's interesting, your original teams that were on there, you had, which didn't change names, was like Boston and New York. And the Phillies actually were not the Sixers. They were the Warriors beforehand. But they still kept their team, and that was back in the 40s.
All right. Well, you're 100% sure that Cincinnati Tigers.
Yeah, that's what
not.
I'm going with E.
All right. Well, James, I'm going to have to tell you that you are correct. That is the only team out of that list that actually existed. Providence Steamrollers in the 1940s. So
I know they had a team. I didn't know the name, but I know they used to have one.
Yeah, well, I next time I'll have to change the last name to make it a team that didn't exist. All right. So what height was the shortest NBA player to be a first-round pick? Was it 5'1", 5'3", 5'5", 5'6", or 5'7"? Good luck, everyone.
Well, this one's interesting because it's Spud Webb or Muggsy Bogues, and they were 5'3", 5'5". I think Spud Webb was the one that was drafted in the first round. I don't think Muggsy was. And
Daniel goes with 5'3".
That's what I was thinking. It's either B or C. It's one of those two right there.
So Spud Webb was one of my favorite players, and I'm not going to say what height he was, but he was one of my favorite players.
Yeah, he was really short. I know he's more than 5'1", but he's 5'3" or 5'4". I think Daniel's correct. I think it's 5'3" is what he was, and I think Muggsy was 5'4", wasn't he?
I don't exactly know.
I'm gonna go with being 5'3" because he was
5'3" seems really short. So Daniel's saying it was Muggsy, and both of you are correct. It was Muggsy at 5'3", and he actually played 14 seasons. So
I knew there was Muggsy or Spud, but I knew they both were really short.
So Spud Webb was 5'7". He was the second shortest of all time.
Oh, was he? Okay.
And Spud Webb actually won a dunk contest. That's why I thought he was one of my favorite players. But all right, well, looks like King James is already off to a good start with 2-2.
Oh, I know this one. Yeah, I know this one.
So Kobe Bryant's middle name is A. James, B. Anthony, C. Bean, D. Bear, or E. David. Good luck, everyone.
I can even give a history on this one. My three favorite players in the NBA. First was Jordan, then Kobe, and now my third favorite player is Luka Doncic. And
Okay.
Kobe Bryant, his first name, Kobe, actually his parents named him Kobe. They were about to have Kobe, and they were eating at a Japanese restaurant, and they were having Kobe steak, and they said that'd be a good name, and so they called him Kobe. And the way he got his middle name, C is B, is because his dad in his playing days, his middle name was Jelly Bean, and that's why they called him Bean. So it's Kobe Bean. It's C. I know it's right. You don't even have to go through your own spiel. Just go ahead and say I'm right. I know I'm right on this.
All right, Daniel copies King James tonight, and he gets a second one correct. Both of you are correct. I didn't know if I was gonna get you on that one or not, but it seemed weird to me. Like I didn't know that. So.
Yeah, he was named because his dad nickname they called him Jelly Bean, and that's why they named him Bean. And you know where I saw that? Kelly Clarkson, she has her show, and Kobe was on there, and I was watching it, and he was explaining how he got his names.
All right.
So,
Okay.
all right.
Cool. Thank you, Kelly Clarkson, for James getting one correct tonight. All right. So, Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain did not have his numbers retired by which one of these teams? Was it A, the Philadelphia Warriors, Golden State Warriors? Was it B, the Philadelphia 76ers? Was it C, the Harlem Globetrotters? Was it D, the LA Lakers? Or was it E, the Chicago Bulls? Good luck, everyone.
I know.
All right, Daniel comes out of the gate with 2. Oh, Harlem Globetrotters.
Nope.
Good answer, Daniel. That's a good answer.
Nope, it's A, and I don't know the whole thing behind that, but like I said earlier, I knew this team was the Philadelphia Warriors before they become the Sixers, and Wilt Chamberlain had problems with management. Apparently, he got traded, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he got traded to the Bulls. If I'm not mistaken, but he did play for the Harlem Globetrotters, but I don't think they actually retired numbers. Maybe they did. Maybe they.
Doesn't that sound wonky though?
Yeah, that does. But I know he was retired by the Lakers and Bulls, but it was after his death that he got his number retired by the Philadelphia Warriors, and but before then it wasn't. Okay, so he actually had it at that time when it got retired. It was by the Sixers, but the Warriors did not retire. It was after his death, so A should be the answer.
Oh, James, man, I really wish that I could give you a perfect score. If you were to have a second answer, what would be your second answer tonight?
Was it B?
It was E. The Chicago Bulls never retired his number. So, the reports that I have, that I looked up, basically he was retired by everyone on there except the Chicago Bulls.
Really?
The Chicago Bulls never retired his number.
Didn't he get his number retired after his death by the Sixers?
By all of them. Like, like, I don't know exactly if it was all of them, but I know that you're correct on A, but it was still retired. So basically, the Philadelphia Warriors, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Harlem Globetrotters, and the LA Lakers all retired his number, which was number 13. The only one that didn't was the Chicago Bulls.
Okay, that's all right.
Daniel's got life here. Daniel could tie it up here. All right. What was the name of Toronto's first professional basketball team? Was it A, the Toronto Thunder? Was it B, the Toronto Raptors? Was it C, the Toronto Huskies? Was it D, the Toronto Mounties? Or was it E, the Toronto Titans? Good luck, everyone.
This is
All
an
right.
interesting one because I know they had a basketball team before in the 60s, and I can't remember if it was the Huskies or Mounties. I know it wasn't any of those. The Raptors come later. So
yeah, the Raptors could have been the first, though, too.
No, they wouldn't. God, it's C or D. I'm not sure.
Oh, Daniel coming out of the gate with the C Huskies. Oh, Daniel.
All I have to do is guess what he guessed, and then I'm automatic winner anyway. So I'll go C.
C Huskies. Oh, man. You guys are correct. It was the Toronto Huskies. I'm glad you copied Daniel and elevated yourself to another championship victory tonight, James. So Daniel, he's gonna be waving the Daniel sucks flag, and I'm making a podcast about Daniel, how Daniel doesn't know nothing on the quiz and he's uneducated and what is Daniel like? Daniel's got to be riding my coattails. That's what it is. Daniel's riding my coattails to victory on the Willie Quiz, you know. Like, the only reason Daniel won was because of me teaching him things out on the job site.
The last 4 out of 16 questions, I got 15 of them right.
Yep. Dude, he's trash talking now, Daniel, so I'm gonna have to have Daniel pick the topics from now on, so like Daniel will be like, oh, I bet you he doesn't know about porcupine mating rituals or something. Like, I don't know how to do something.
I wouldn't.
But we'll have to get him off his game, you know what I mean? Like, we'll see, you know. But,
I'm good at sports. I always get them.
And the thing was that this is really cool because, like, there's a lot of things in here that nobody knew. Like, I didn't know, you know what I mean? And I was even telling everybody at work today, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get him. I bet he's going to know some of these, you know. But it's all cool, you know. Like, we got Daniel in there, you know, just giving you all the answers and stuff. So, you know, good thing you have Daniel in here to copy off of, because if you didn't have Daniel, you would have got a few more wrong, you know. But, you know. Yeah, it's all good, but we really appreciate everybody joining. Means a lot. Thanks for putting this together, James. Really appreciate you bringing the heat every week. Dude, I know you were sick, and I was a little worried. Like, I was even willing to cancel the show if we had to, you know, because it's just so much fun, and you know, means a lot to everybody joining.
I'm sick, Daniel. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, dude. Dude, how do you know that James, dude, I bet you James is paying you to come in here and lose on purpose, you know? I mean, dude, the whole thing is, like, I bet you he's just trying to make himself look like he's the king over there at DFW. He's gonna be driving around with this golf cart with the hook 'em horns. We gotta do hook 'em horns. Hook 'em horns. And he's gonna have the hook 'em horns, all the horns on his front of his golf cart, big old king on the top, driving around. He's gonna go full speed. A golf cart could probably go 30 miles an hour. He's gonna go full speed. Just yelling, "I'm the champion." You know what I mean? And everyone's gonna just be like, "Yeah, dude. Oh, dude, it's ugly, Daniel. I'm sorry. Just wait till the podcast comes out. I'll send you a link. You'll see. He's gonna explain all the questions that you missed, that you were wrong about and stuff, and put it in his own James Stallcup podcast that he never made before. But he's trying to do. He's just trying to ride your coattails, Daniel. That's what he's trying to do.
For one, there's nothing in this world that's more rigged than that.
True. Yeah. So
that's
like I say, the hush money trial, like we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to check some of the jurors' bank accounts and stuff in the next few months. Make sure everything's on the up and up.
All right, I'm ready to end. I'm ready to go to bed. I'm tired.
All right, sir. Well, no, awesome time. We really appreciate it. Thanks so much for joining us. And
hopefully next week I'll feel a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, I'll try to get you. I'm gonna get Daniel behind the scenes. We're gonna, we're gonna get some topic that he thinks maybe you might, struggle with. And so far there's not been too many topics he struggled with, brother. Especially geography. You're good at that. So appreciate you. Thanks for joining, Daniel. And
Not, brother.
Remember, everyone, make every day an easy day.
Everybody have a good weekend. We'll see y'all next Thursday. All right, everyone, have a good night. I'm doing my pickle shot right now.